Okay, so we've talked about the general, and now we're going to get to the specifics. I swear this is going to be just basically if you just want to check the ideas out, go straight to video 6. Right? Okay, so yeah, we've gone through a lot of things. The power and equality wheel showed how personal relationships can interact with democracy. We would learn how to interact with one another since it's just a autocratic system. Do as the fucking boss says. We were not building any solidarity with other students, and no socialization is taking process, right? So social studies, how come we don't socialize in social studies? In sociology, we had a discussion class where nobody discussed shit. We were just supposed to fucking sit down and accept the fucking lecture. So it's bullshit. Learning pyramid shows how everything's fucked. The Maslow's hierarchy shows how American education sucks. So the American education system is not using the learning pyramid. They're not using Maslow's hierarchy. They don't care about your real life. They're not actually caring about if you retain the information. They're not equipping you with the skills that you need to be equipped with. They're not liberating you. They're not creating networks in order for you to get better jobs. All they're doing is doing one thing and one thing only. They're teaching you to be submissive, compliant, and obedient. That's it. Be a slave. That's American education system. So the ideas that I have with all the general ideas and problems that I see with education are these. And there's two ways I'm gonna go with this. There's these two ideas, because if I don't get the JCPS Innovative School, then I won't have a building and I won't have money, so I have to just sort of do things on my own. And this is one way to educate people. I can produce a video, you can listen to it, gain some knowledge about stuff I know. You can learn anything from anybody. Everybody has some piece of knowledge that you don't know. Everybody does. You can learn from everybody, okay? But try to teach a teacher, they'll act like they're fucking assholes, right? Show them the learning pyramid, and they will be pissed the fuck off. They will hate the learning pyramid, okay? And it's crazy because they'll defend lecture until they're fucking dead. But if you point out the learning pyramid and you lecture to them, they're the most fucking, you know, questioning person, most scientific person ever, right? They got to have all the detail, all the evidence, and you got to just make it, you know, bring it on home. So, you know, try to lecture at a teacher. Try to lecture to a professor to see if they fucking listen, because they don't listen to anybody. They know what the deal is. They know that they're the fucking managers. They know they're micromanaging the shit out of you. They know that they're oppressors. They know that what they're doing, okay? You're taught management tactics in teacher training school, and management tactics is all they care about. They sacrifice education for order. They go straight to the management tactics. And it's such bullshit, because I feel like I can lead the majority and may have to manage some of the peripheral, but I'm not going to be do as the fuck as I say as soon as you walk in the door. And it's such bullshit. I remember every time any teacher has like chastised me or tried to, you know, treat me like a fucking asshole. Every fucking time. Every time. And the facts or the ideas and information they were sharing with me, they're pushed off to the sides, and, you know, nobody's paying attention to it. The ideas. Okay, so flipped classroom. This is like a flipped classroom idea. I have 6 videos about the Freedom Skool, and so if I wanted you, I would think anybody should, you know, if they're going to participate in doing this, they would have to sort of know, you know, the origins of the ideas of what it is that I'm trying to work on. So that's just one example, but I actually have a better example. I got like 25 videos about the Kentucky Constitution. So the Kentucky Constitution, I'm teaching a Kentucky Constitution class. I don't have to lecture every day, okay? I can say, watch videos 1, 2, and 3, and then come to class, be prepared to discuss. So once you have the basic knowledge of the information I wanted you to get, which you could read on your own, you ain't got to watch the video, but the video's out there to say, hey, there was a lecture out there, and these are the ideas that I thought that were important. Then once we come to class, we could just work on dialogue and then discussing the ideas. Once everybody has already studied and learned the ideas for themselves at home, they can come into class ready to dialogue, ready to discuss, and that's where the real learning happens, is when we start sharing our own ideas. What did we get out of the lecture? What did we pull out of it? I also have I'm working on some history of revolution lectures and some hemp lectures. And there's lots more lectures I'm going to be working on, but those are the immediate ones. And so that's the flip classroom idea. So the classroom is you're being lectured at home, and then you're discussing when you go to school. It's fucking brilliant. It's fucking great. Because a lot of times when you try, you know, sociology, you try like a new field, they have all this vernacular that you got to learn. You got to learn their jargon. And every profession has its own jargon. So before you know the jargon, you can't really discuss, you know, the ideas with the other people that's in the same field. So at the very least, you got to know the jargon. And right, so that's flipped classroom. I can do that right now. So that's a cornerstone to the Freedom Skool. Flipped classrooms. At any time you're on Kentucky Constitution, you know, one of my YouTube videos on Kentucky Constitution, and you got a question, type the question in. You don't like what's being presented, you got a different idea, present those different ideas. And I'll work with you. I can answer the questions right there on YouTube. You got this question, here's the answer I found, right? And you got an idea, hey, I'd really like to learn about revolutions and the history of revolutions all throughout world history. Well, I got a class for you. I want to learn about hemp. Good, I got a class for you. And so, right, so those are, that's flipped classrooms. Now, the other one is, the other thing that I could do on my own, without the building, without the financing, is 3 dream classes. So if you don't want to talk about hemp, you don't want to talk about the history of revolutions, you just want, or the Kentucky Constitution, those are the ones that I have provided, you want something else, you can, you know, talk to me and say, here's what I want to teach. And actually, in some weird way, you could teach it and you would learn it yourself. If you need an audience, I'll watch your video, right? Oh, it's a good video. You seem like you have a good grasp of the information of which, you know, you're taking out. The 3 dream classes is a integral point to the Freedom Skool in the building, because it's okay, the way this ties into the free educational exchange. So every syllabus that every professor or every teacher is going to be provided online. So everybody will see what the class is about, what's expected out of them, how it's going to be ran. It's all posted online for anybody to see, so completely transparent. And since the syllabus is the contract between the student and the teacher, you know, that's you basically can choose which curriculum you want. And if you have 20 teachers and they provide this amount of classes and they don't have the classes that you want, right? You'll pick your top 5 classes. If you don't get it, you'll pick your second top 5. If you don't get those, then we're going to go to some dream classes. And the dream classes are, what do you want to do with your life? What is it that you want to do? And if it's all about, you know, I want to become an astronaut, or I want to design my own space shuttle, or, you know, I don't know, I want to be a teacher. Even if it's I want to be a teacher, it could be any class you want it to develop, any class you want. And at the very least, every person at Freedom Skool will sit down with you and come up with a plan for that dream. Now, maybe a curriculum won't be developed. You know, the student might have to bring in their own curriculum, or the teacher, you might convince the teacher to develop the curriculum. And it just might be a plan, but at the very least, you're talking about somebody with your dreams. And James Ramsey of University of Louisville, at the commencement speech, says the whole point of life is to get with other people who share your dreams. They want you to achieve the dreams just like you do. When you get around people like that, that's when you'll actually achieve, you know, where you're headed. And that's true. I mean, that's sort of just logical. That just makes sense, right? If I want to be, I don't know, if I want to be a Marine, and that's all I want to work on, then that's the things, you know, like I should have people sort of guiding me in some direction. But a lot of times it seems like it's just a void. It's like, well, what do you want to do with your life? Well, I want to be an astronaut. Oh, okay, well, do all this calculus and maybe you'll become an astronaut. No, fuck that. If you want to be an astronaut, what does it take? What are the odds? You know what I mean? Like, actually get into it. And then you can kind of switch up in the middle too and sort of change something else if you realize that's not what you want to do. It's too big of an uphill fucking battle. But at the very least, you can achieve your dreams, right? So when it comes to Benjamin Disraeli, think high, because you'll never go higher than what you think. Now, if I can get the building, if I get JCPS to accept the Innovative School of Design, the Democratic and Innovative Freedom Skool, the Freedom Skool, right? Think big, where democracy and freedom reign supreme. If I can get all that, then I have an entire plan, okay? So the very first thing is the Constitution. You get everybody, so let's see, you got 200 students, 30 teachers, and then everybody's parents. So everybody gets together, there's a town hall meeting, and a Constitution is created. A Constitution, which is a basic compact for how the whole system is going to be ran. And everything's going to be put into it. You know, who's got control of what, all the staff and administrators, positions will be, you know, descriptively defined, and people will know, you know, where they stand. And so by codifying this into law, by giving it a document that everybody can come from, in all of my schools, Spalding University, University of Louisville, Xavier University, there are so many different ideas. Who's ruling, okay, let's just say University of Louisville. Who rules University of Louisville? The SGA has their own bylaws. Then the fucking graduate schools got their own bylaws. And then there's the student handbook. And then there's the U.S. Constitution. Then there's the Kentucky Constitution. And there's the, you know, the state laws and the city laws. And then there's, you know, basically there's just so many different documents. is anybody reading all this stuff and sort of taking, you know, just amalgamation of all of them and then saying, here's what's going on? Or are they only, you know, just the dean is only listening to the student handbook and fuck the constitutions? Is that what is going on? There's no foundation. There's no foundational framework from which a discussion can actually come, and that's what a constitution, the Constitution of Freedom Skool would develop that foundation. So, and that's also democracy. People could discuss the things, the distribution of powers, while legislative, judicial, and executive branches are important. I think the election branch is important, and elections, you know, we're going to have so many elections at the Freedom Skool, but there's the election department and the media department. So there's so many things that you can do with the media department. Have their own student media, have video media, you know, have, you know, sort of a YouTube channel which you report about all the stuff that's going on at the school, and a newspaper. There's so many things you can do. If you can dream it, you can do it at Freedom Skool. If you can dream it, you can do it. So that's the Constitution idea. And then that's the that builds on, that kind of goes towards the town hall meeting. So I want a democracy. Everywhere you see it's a dictatorship. There's no democracy anywhere in America. Even in our voting systems, we're at 25% of the public vote, like in Kentucky. 25% is our turnout rate. So the majority of the people don't even give a fuck about our government. They don't even participate. Voting is the very least you can do, and if you ain't even voting, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing shit. So 75% of Kentuckians are saying, fuck this government, I'm not going to participate. That's horrible. That's bad. Democracy is consensus-based democracy, where we all sit down and we say we're all going to agree on something, and then we're going to go forward. That's the ideal standard. Majority rules, you know, so the minority get their say, majority get their way, but ultimately you know, it'll be the people that decides what's going on, and we'll learn how to talk to each other and how to, you know, have equal relationships instead of just fucking kissing the boss's ass and then that's it. The town hall meetings, I think of Gilmore Girls. There's the Summerhill, Sudbury schools. So there's other schools out there that's been using democracy for a long time. We can, you know, take a lot of their ideas or utilize their ideas. I want Freedom Skool to be an amalgamation of all the best ideas, you know, in all the world. And so that's the Summerhill and Sudbury model schools were some of the most impressive schools that I liked. Now, in order to have also the town hall meetings and in the Constitution, the students are going to have the power to hire and fire the staff. So they're going to be able to hire and fire you. If they don't like you, you're going to get out here. The staff will be there at the mercy of the students, right? By the consent of the governed, that's how you're governed. So if the governed are saying it's okay for you to be the leader, you can be the leader. But if they say no, you got to go. And I think that's revolutionary, you know, by itself. But to learn democracy, I think some sort of parliamentary procedure needs to be learned. So I think Robert's Rules of Order is what a lot of city councils and other governing bodies use, and I would suggest using Robert's Rules of Order for the parliamentary procedure in Freedom Skool. Now that's the Constitution, the town hall meetings, the flipped classroom, the dream classes. The last two things is the free, well, I already mentioned the free educational exchange, and then the great books theme. So the free educational exchange is where the professors put all their syllabuses online, and then the students get to choose whatever classes they want. That's the free educational exchange. It's sort of like the free market. If the professors don't put, you know, if there's somebody that's putting Latin out there and nobody wants to learn any Latin, well, then that professor's not going to teach that class, right? So they're going to have to put up interesting classes that the students are actually listening to. They'll have to work on getting the students into their classrooms, right? Instead of just saying, well, I'm the fucking boss and I'm the expert and you just got to do as the fuck as I say. No. You need to be interested and you need to be teaching something that's, you know, you need to be liberating me. You don't need to be oppressing me. So that's the free educational exchange. It's kind of, actually that's sort of college anyways, but sort of bring that college where you can pick any classes that you want into high school. I only got 5 required classes too, so out of 32 classes in the high school, 5 classes will be required. A parliamentary procedure class, some other classes, just life skills, shit like that, conflict, whatever. But I listed them down, but the 5 classes, one's parliamentary procedure, because we need to learn how to talk to each other, how to take turns and make sure everybody gets their voice heard, and at the same time make decisions. So, you know, there's got to be that balance between discussion and action. But the last theme, and it'll be a class that we have, and it's probably my favorite idea because it gives the flavor to the whole Freedom Skool, and it's the great books. The great books theme. So I got a theme of great books. St. John's has an entire curriculum where they've chosen, you know, the 100 greatest books of Western society. You come in, you study those books, you have a dialogue about them, and even though you're not learning like you know, social studies or fucking engineering and shit. You're learning philosophy, and you're learning how to speak and be proud of what it is, you know. You're learning sort of your Maslow's hierarchy shit that you should have learned a long ass time ago when it comes to love and acceptance and belonging. The Great Books program, this is like St. John's but different because the students themselves will actually vote on them. So every year, for the 100 greatest books ever written in the entire Western or Eastern world, any book that's ever been written, the students are going to vote on them every year. So you'll have a 2014 canon, and then you're going to have a 2015 canon, and you get a vote on them. So it's sort of like a gift to the next class. It's genius.